Being Irish, I'm going to get a bad name for myself, and people will think that I'm only doing Irish plays, but I've always loved Oscar Wilde. And I read this play when I was younger, obviously in Ireland, but I heard it again a while ago, a few years ago now, on a radio play for BBC4, I think it was. And I was just tittering along to myself, laughing at the witty one-liners and that. And I thought to myself, I've actually never seen this done over here. You see the importance of being earnest done quite a lot, and you see ideal husband, but I've never actually seen any company over here do a woman of no importance. And again, I probably get a name for myself of picking plays that I want to direct or produce that are very much plays with very strong females in them. And I really, really liked that he had very strong females in this, and it hadn't really been done. And I felt like, do you know when you really enjoy like reading something or listening to it and you say, I kind of want to share that with people, when you have a good time kind of getting into the story and you think, actually, yeah, more people need to hear this and see this. So that's why I decided. And I knew that we probably had I knew we had the right people in the Marlowes to be able to cast it as well.
Lord Illingworth is a successful man. He's a fashionable man. He lives in the world and for it.
Actually, it's really, really strange because obviously it's based in the 19th century, but there's some of the things that they talk about in political terms that are very much relevant today. And you think to yourself, have we actually evolved at all as a species? Because some of the things they're talking about, obviously it's in a different context, but still very, very relevant to today.
And her life was ruined, and her soul was ruined, and all that was sweet and good and pure in her ruined also.
And I think a lot of people will kind of get that when they come to see it as well, is that there's things that they're talking about that are very much splitting people in their opinions. They're very relevant to what's happening today as well. And the whole thing around gender divide is very, very prominent in this play.
The world is made for men and not for women. We don't say that, Lady Stutfield. We have a far better time of it than they do.
Even though you have very strong females, they're very much reminded of their place in society, which is weird because actually in the play they're very, very powerful and very, very strong. But and you kind of look at that and think, have we actually moved on much from that either? Where you have strong females who obviously keep the world afloat, and they're still being treated sometimes like they're maybe not of equal kind of batting. So
I'm afraid dear Lord Illingworth doesn't value the moral qualities in women as much as he should.
There's quite a bit of gossiping, and there's quite a lot of opinions.
It was from Meltham, which is only 2 miles from here, that Lady Belton eloped with Lord Feathersdale. Well, I think that to elope is cowardly. It's running away from danger. Danger has become so rare in modern life.
I think it's quite good fun as well. There's some cracking one-liners. Some of the women have absolutely brilliant one-liners as well.
I will tell you, as long as you solemnly promise that you will tell everybody else.
And you can't really pick out any one character having the best one-liners. I think actually all of them have 1 or 2 really, really great lines in this, so you kind of just laugh to yourself and think that's cracking. It's a really, really great insult or put down, or it's a really great kind of maybe powerful line that they kind of deliver.
Oh dear, Mr. Cardew is ruining the country. I wonder Mrs. Cardew allows him.
There's loads of females in this as well, yeah. So there's really, I think there 7 women in this play, but they're not kind of one-liner parts. They're big parts, and actually 3 of the women have quite big monologues in it as well, which I think some people had reservations about, would people want to do that and that? And I said, absolutely, because I wanted to showcase the talent, especially we had in the females in our company, if you know what I mean, because we know, a lot of plays can be quite male-dominated, male-heavy, whereas this is actually, obviously it's got a very prominent male lead in it as well, but I think the women are the real kind of stars in this, definitely. We've got some really, really experienced Marlowes that people recognise, and then we've got some new people and people that maybe have been away for a while and have come back, which is really, really nice as well. And there's people who I've cast who have been with the Marlowes for maybe a year or so, and this is the first production as well, so that's really, really nice.
The ideal husband? Well, could never be such a thing. The institution is wrong.
Oh, Oscar, a legend. I just think he's brilliant. I just love how he's taken society and written about it in a way that's actually timeless and hasn't actually, like, you know, aged, which is fantastic. It seemed that was like written over 100 years ago. Lord Illingworth is without a doubt an almost caricature, I think, of Oscar Wilde, and there's definitely things about Oscar Wilde in that character, without a doubt. He's quite flamboyant and his lines are very witty and very cutting in that. The cast are absolutely amazing. Like, they've done such a wonderful job. They've just put so much into the characters and into the story as well, so into the kind of interaction between the characters, which is really, really nice. And you'll see it on stage, because obviously it's an Oscar Wilde, so they're sitting around having a chat. That's what he loved people doing. And but you'll see that they're not just delivering lines, you'll see that there's relationships, and they've really worked on how each other feels about, like, you know, everybody kind of sitting around having those chats. And somebody might say something and somebody doesn't have lines, is reacting to it in a way that you kind of think, oh, I wonder why they just did that. Oh, they mustn't like each other. And that's exactly what Oscar Wilde wants. He wants you to be thinking, why don't they like each other? Or, oh, she didn't agree with that. Because that's what society is. And and in that society, you might have somebody that's obviously not agreeing with somebody's opinion, but when the person looks at them, they'll be like, oh yes. So yeah, the kind of two-facedness of the society is very, very evident with the acting off script as well, which is great.